I'm Rob McConnell, and welcome to the X Zone, a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. Today on the X Zone, the world of psychic fairs. Throughout Canada, psychic fairs spring up in towns and villages of all sizes. Now, what is the best way of choosing a psychic at a psychic fair? According to Stan and Ray, organizers of First Star famous psychic fairs, visitors to a psychic fair should walk around the fair a number of times until they're drawn to a particular psychic. And you can visit their website at www.e-psychic.com. Never be pressured into getting a reading from a psychic that you just don't feel comfortable with. If you're not satisfied with your reading, tell the psychic. And remember, people, psychic readings at a psychic fair are for entertainment purposes only.
Hello.
Yes. Is this the Reverend Jordine, God-gifted problem-solver and medicine man?
Yes, it is.
My name is Gilbert Darley, G-N-A-R-L-E-Y.
Yes.
And I'm very glad I reached you because I have an emergency.
How can I help you?
Well, last night, see, I was watching TV. I don't know if you saw it. It was that special tribute to the Partridge Family's Danny Bonaducci.
Yeah.
He's one of my favorites. Anyway, my lottery number came up on the screen.
Your what?
My lottery number. And, you know, at first I didn't believe it, but then I realized that those were the numbers that I play every week.
Well, brother, how can I help you?
Well, I can't find the ticket. And I was calling you because I think you're a psychic and you do voodoo curses and psychic stuff.
I'm a psychic, yeah.
I was wearing my blue coat. I know that when I bought the ticket. And you know the one I'm talking about, the blue coat with the brass buttons with the anchors on them?
Yes, I do.
Yes, yeah, that's the one I wear. Yeah, I knew you would know that. See, okay, now, I think I put that ticket in the jacket breast pocket, but I cannot find the jacket, see?
Yeah.
And I always hang the jacket on the rack in the front hall. So, but I can't find it.
Listen, I think I can help you.
Oh, that's wonderful. Oh,
Okay, first you're going to need to do something for me, okay?
So I'll be more than anything.
All right. You're going to need to send me your name and your address, and you're going to need to send me a money order. I don't want cash, no, okay? I don't want cash.
No cash, you
okay.
just... You
send
want
me a money order for
money order.
Send me a money order for
I can get that in the drugstore.
Yeah, send me a money order for two... No, wait a minute. How much did you say you were going to win in this?
Oh, I could win upwards of over $100,000.
Okay. Now, I tell you what I'm going to...
Oh, wait a minute. Now, see, the only problem is we would not be able to do this because, see, I've got to have that lottery ticket by noon tomorrow, and I don't have time to send you anything. You're just going to have to trust me.
I can't help you until I get the money.
Well... Yeah, I realize because, you know, this is a business. And, I mean, you do this, your God-given talent, you must... I'll tell you, I don't understand why I can't find it either, you know. It could have been my maid. I have this wonderful lady who is a house lady that helps me out. She's Portuguese or Siamese or something like that. She doesn't speak any English, and she moves my things around all the time. I was thinking maybe she may have misplaced my jacket. You know, she's such a strange lady. Even when she irons, you know, she doesn't iron clothes. What she does is she'll take your pants or your coat or something, and to iron it, she puts it between the box springs and the mattress of the bed. She's a wonderful lady, but I thought she may have put it in the closet, or I thought she might have put it somewhere in the house, or maybe packed it with my winter clothes, but I looked through all that, and it's just nowhere to be found.
Okay, now you tell me you have to have this ticket by tomorrow.
Yeah, I've got to have it by noon tomorrow.
Okay, now I run a business here.
I understand that.
I don't have any other way of supporting myself.
I understand that,
and therefore I need to have income. You understand?
I understand that to pay for the phone lines and stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I've got to have I've got to have some kind of
What
reason.
if I would be glad to split this with you if you would help me find the ticket. I know there's no other way but to do it this way.
I think that would be marvelous. I think that would be
Yeah, okay,
extremely generous.
you have my word. Listen, I would split this with you if we found this ticket.
Possibly I can help you.
Okay.
Possibly.
Okay. Where should I look?
You say your maid puts these things, your clothes, right, in between the mattress and the springs. Is that right?
Yeah.
Well, did you look there?
No, I didn't look. I've looked everywhere else.
Well, why don't you go look?
Let me go. Can you hold on here?
Sure.
I'm going to come right back. It's just in the next room, okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, Joey! Oh, wonderful! This is great! I can't believe it! I found it! Oh! Reverend Jardine,
Yes, sir. Yes.
it wasn't there.
Oh,
No,
wait a-
it wasn't
wait a minute.
there.
wait a minute.
Yeah.
I heard you. I heard you
What?
I heard you say that you found it. You were
Well, no, I was. You know what?
What was?
I was seeing when I was in there. So I just remembered what I was going to have for lunch. Pimento cheese sandwiches. I love pimento cheese, and I always get very happy when I remember I'm going to have pimento cheese sandwich for lunch. But no, I guess I didn't find it. But thanks a lot for the help.
I don't think you're playing fair with me. I don't think this is proper.
Well, I wish I'd found it. I really wish I had. Well, I got to go have my pimento cheese for lunch now. It's been real nice talking to you. Okay, I really didn't find it. I wish I had. Gee whiz, okay.
I'm Rob McConnell, and welcome to the X Zone, a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. Today on the X Zone, the Roswell crash of 1947. In July of 1947, something crashed near the small town of Roswell, New Mexico. That something is believed to have been a flying saucer by millions of UFO enthusiasts around the world, headed by nuclear physicist Stanton Friedman. Now, Friedman has never seen any physical evidence of the alien craft or the remains of its alien occupants, but bases his belief on the stories that he has heard from locals and townspeople alike. According to the United States Air Force and other government agencies, the Roswell incident was not a crashed alien ship. Friedman and his followers insist to this very day that the governments of the world are covering up the fact that the aliens are here, and that the denial of the UFO crash at Roswell, New Mexico is proof of this global government cover-up. Join me, Rob McConnell, for another story from the world of the paranormal and the science of parapsychology when next we meet in the X Zone, the place where people dare to believe and dare to be heard.
All Hit Radio.
Welcome to the X Zone, a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. Now, here's your host, Rob McConnell.
And welcome back to the X Zone, everyone. I am Rob McConnell, and for the next 2 hours, I'm your host and your guide as together we cross the time-space continuum to this place that I call the X Zone. It's a place where people dare to believe and dare to be heard. It's a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. And the X Zone comes to you Monday through Friday from 10 p.m. Eastern until midnight, right here from the broadcast studios of the X Zone Broadcast Network. And you're listening to us on your hometown radio, Classic 1220, and streaming around the world on classic1220.ca. If you'd like to send me an email, xzone@classic1220.ca is the magic address. Exonation, my first guest tonight is David Gaggin, and we're going to be speaking to David about our eternal existence. And joining me now from the state of Florida is David Gaggin. And David, welcome to the X Zone.
Thank you, Rob. Happy to be here.
David, tell us a little bit about yourself and what was it that inspired you to write our eternal existence?
Well, Rob, I'm an engineer who has spent his life trying to figure out who I am, where I am, and why am I here.
And how's that working for you so far? Go ahead, sir.
I had a father who got me interested in reading strange books when I was in high school, and I found them rather fascinating, quite frankly. And things like Aku Aku and various other topics, and I could never figure out what was going on, but it seemed like there was something going on in this world, and I didn't understand what it was. So I was always interested in it, and when I went through life, I became an electrical engineer and had a life as an engineer and a manager and a senior executive in the government and such. And I eventually decided to retire, and I spent a lot of time studying, and so I decided to write a book, and the first book I wrote was The Endless Journey. And then, and that was after I retired. And then a few years ago, I had a radio station called the Common Sense Spirituality Show, radio show anyway. And I ended up having a lot of fascinating guests, and I thought I'd put another book together to try to explain some of the answers that I didn't fully explain in the first book. So that's why I wrote it.
What kind of questions do you ask in your books that you just couldn't answer?
Well, things like, who am I? And I was, you wonder what this life is all about. And it turned out that, we're eternal beings having a life existence. And, we're not what we appear to be. We're not our body. We're a consciousness having a life, and where are we? It seems like we're in this strange world, this reality, which, if you believe Einstein and Plato.
Exonation, David Gaggin is my special guest this hour, www.davidgaggin.com. David, before we went to the last break, we were talking about, reincarnation, where children have come back and they've been able to tell their parents, once they become of the age where they can talk, that they describe other lives, they describe other locations. That can actually be verified. But my question to you, sir, is why doesn't this happen to everyone?
Well, we work with the same people life after life. I mean, there's a lot of people we work with, but your last life, you might your mother might be your child in this life. How confusing would that be? You really need a clean slate if you want to have the experiences down here that or here, I don't know if it's down, but if you want to have the experience in this life that you came down to have, you can't remember the past lives and still understand the experiences and have the experiences that you're looking for. So most of us are going to forget these things. As a matter of fact, these children will have forgotten their past lives by the time they're teenagers, virtually 100% of them.
Okay, so why do we need to keep coming back and coming back and coming back? To me, that seems rhetorical.
It's there's a lot of things to learn. We're evolving, and it takes us a long time to evolve, basically eternity. We've probably our souls have been alive for, or been in existence, I should put it, for millions of years, maybe billions for all I know, a long time. So we start out as virtually nothing, and we're trying to learn, and what we're trying to learn about is ourself, because that's the only thing that exists, the Tao, and which is, you call it God, you call it universal consciousness, you can call it anything you want. But we are part of that. We are part of a web of consciousness that is learning about itself. We're part of that web. So we come back to have different types of experiences. These lives that we live are very, very limited, and they're intense. And so you just can't learn that much in any given life. You need many lives to learn this.
But once again, I understand that this has been researched and studied, but there is no proof positive that any of this is real.
Well, what do you need for proof positive? What it's you have to look. It's like any engineering problem. Are we ever absolutely 100% positive that some scientific theory is true? No, we're not. We're not positive of anything. So what we're trying to do is we say, well, what's the most logical? What makes the most sense? What fits most of the data and the criteria that we come up with? And this fits far more than the people believe the Big Bang Theory. You say, well, yeah, I believe that. Everybody's telling me that. But there's no reason to believe that the Big Bang Theory is right. Absolutely zero.
But what is the reason to believe?
And it goes with other ones.
But what is the reason then to believe that we come back time after time after time after time after time after time?
It's just what I've been trying to say. There are many things like Dr. Weiss, many lies, many masters. He was. He didn't believe in any of this, and he wrote a book a number of years ago. I think it was around '89, and he just told his experience from what he found, and what he found was that he was trying to solve some of his patients, which was Catherine at the time, trying to solve some of her issues. So he decided to go back and hypnotize her and see if he could identify some dramatic things that took place in her earlier life. And what happened? He took her back, but she went back to life after life after life. There are so many psychologists that have done this, many that haven't written books about it. They say, yeah, that's what we find. It's a whole body of knowledge there that if you don't look into it, you'll never find it. You have to convince yourself. You can't let anybody else convince you. You have to do it yourself. But there's many places to look that you'll start going in and you say, well, something's going on here. This is not what I've been being taught in school, but this is happening, and you're finding more and more scientists that are beginning to look and realize that, hey, wait a minute, there's a lot more going on here than what meets the eye.
All right. So it sounds as if this is a perspective that if you as an individual want to look at the data and make it fit into a theory that tends you to think that it's more plausible than any other theory of life and existence, that's what you do. Right?
It's what you do for, exactly. But it's what you do for everything. You know, no matter what you're doing, whatever your view is, whether it's religious, whether it's scientific, whether it's metaphysical, you look at a certain amount of data and you make the decision on what you believe to be the most likely perspective. And if you look at enough of it, you know, then you start realizing that there's other perspectives out there, and then you try to put them together to see, hey, what makes sense. It's no different than solving. I used to design flight control systems for Boeing, for the helicopters. And, you know, if it wasn't working, what would I do? I'd go and I'd say, okay, what's the most likely cause for this to happen? So you'd look at a number of different elements, and you'd say, okay, this is what I believe will happen. Sometimes it's right, sometimes it's wrong. But the more you looked, the more you would find out what the answer was, and eventually you'd fix the problem. But that's how we solve everything. We look at it, and the problem is a lot of people don't take the time and energy to look at it. And I can understand that. I mean, we have busy lives. Everybody's trying to get on with life. So a lot of people don't have the time, and another thing, a lot of people don't realize that there's answers out there. So they don't look, and they don't spend the time doing it. But if you do, and if you looked at this stuff, you know, most people would start to realize that, wait a minute, this isn't quite the way it's been painted to us.
Well, we know history has lied to us, and the educational system lies to us. However,
yes, it does.
However, if this theory of yours is accurate and is true, why do we need to live at all?
Because you need experiences. The trouble is because this is an illusion, your soul that creates you would see right through the illusion. So if the soul wanted to have the experiences that you and I are having, it couldn't do it in this illusion because it would see through it. It has to create a vehicle that allows that vehicle to feel and see the illusion in order to have the experiences. So if the soul wants to experience these type of experiences, in other words, if the soul wants to experience negative energy like fear, it can't do it in the realm that it's in. It needs to set up an illusion that allows it to have that experience.
Okay, hold on here. I'm trying to follow this.
Okay.
I come down here. I've got this business plan already in my little possession.
Right.
I go through life, okay, following my business plan. But what happens if I decide not to follow the business plan? Let's say I'm a renegade, which I am.
You can choose not to.
But doesn't that screw up everybody else? Because according to the way that I understand that you're telling me, what I do has cause and effect on others. So if I go away from the script, I'm not only screwing myself up, but I'm also causing a major catastrophe with all those who are supposed to have contact with me.
Well, there's no question that you can go off your plan. But everybody has their own plan, and they're not nearly as affected by other people going off their plan as you might think. Because you still have a soul here that is continually trying to guide you in the direction that it wants you to go. That you don't have to follow the soul, but the soul provides those opportunities through things like synchronicity, and that it will lead you to where it would like you to go, and you agreed to it originally before you came down here. But if other people, if indeed somebody is supposed to do something for you in a life, for example, be your parent, and that person decided not to have any children or had all the children they wanted by the time you came around, you'd have another parent. You'd have multiple parents, multiple paths that you could follow if you indeed didn't get your number one choice. So you might pick a dozen people to be your parent, and each one of them would say, "That's fine, I'll do that." But when you get down here, they may not do it because of whatever circumstances they may find themselves. You pick you pick a set of spouses, and if indeed those spouses are not available, or you pick somebody else. I mean, you have free will. You don't have to pick the one that you chose. You can pick somebody else.
But what's the sense of having a script if I don't have to follow it? What happens if I don't, hold on to this thought. We've got to take our break. My producer just interrupted me here, so please stand by. Exonation, our guest this hour is David Gaggin, Gaggin, and his website is davidgaggin.com, and we'll both be back on the other side as we try to unravel this rather confusing topic. Are you a skeptic or are you a believer? Send me your emails. xzone@classic1220.ca, and we'll both be back. Don't go away, because this is the X Zone. I'm Rob McConnell.
Just the music on the radio. No one's coming, no one's gone. The telephone, just me and you, and the lights down low. And we're slow dancing, swaying to the music. Slow dancing, just me and my girl. Slow dancing, swaying to the music.
David Gaggin's our special guest, Exonation. He's the author of Our Eternal Existence. His website is www.davidgaggin.com. David, if this is true, and I'm having a hard time believing it, why then do we push forward? Why are we trying to go to Mars? Why are we trying to go back to the moon? Why are we trying to make all these new and important discoveries if we really don't have to?
Well, because they're interesting. I mean, why wouldn't we want to do this?
But it's not.
We don't remember what's going on.
But it's not going to affect us one way or the other.
Whether we get to Mars or not, you're absolutely right. It's not going to affect it. But it's interesting. It's interesting to go there. But you're absolutely right. As far as us personally, individually, a lot of the things we do isn't going to affect us, except for the experiences that we have. The experiences will affect us, and they'll affect us forever. Mm-hmm. But you don't need to go to Mars to have these experiences. You don't have to go to the moon. You don't have to solve diseases. But they're interesting, and we try to do that as a civilization to try to make our it more comfortable here. But in reality, the people that lived, which were some of us, 5,000 years ago, had as valuable of the experiences as we're having today. You don't have to do it. but it's the experiences that we're here for.
All right, the experiences that we're here for, are we, or is it possible that we are being manipulated by some other force in order to live the experiences so that we can relay the experiences that we're each having and putting these experiences into a large data bank, for lack of better words, for some unknown reason?
The answer to that is yes. Yes, to a certain extent. When you say manipulated, we are being encouraged to have these experiences. We've agreed to have it. I mean, we came down here. We chose to come down here. We agreed to have the experiences. But manipulated sounds like we don't have control over it. And that's not true.
Okay,
we do have control over it.
All right. Who did we agree with to do this, and who is in control of what we do?
We are in control, but the original one is our soul, basically our soul, our spiritual essence, our consciousness. That's who we agreed. The consciousness said, our soul said, this is what I would like to experience. And therefore it created us, and we agreed to have that experience. And of course, the problem is that as soon as we come down here, we forget what we agreed to. But the soul doesn't forget what we agreed to. So the soul encourages us and guides us, and it sets us up with synchronous opportunities that encourage us to go have these experiences that it wanted. But we agreed with ourselves to do it, because it's ourself that's trying to learn and evolve.
If all this information is going into a central data bank somewhere in the great unknown, why don't we just plug into the data bank and experience the experiences that other souls have experienced throughout time?
Because our experiences are unique. Everybody's experience is unique. We see things from a different perspective. Take, for example, you go to a football game. Simple example. You go to a football game with your close buddy. You both root for the same team. You sit right next to each other. Your team wins or loses. You have the same food. You have the same drink, and you both had very different experiences because of you are a unique individual. Each one of us is unique, and there is literally an infinite number of experiences that we can have, and we learn from every experience that we have. And yes, they do go into a data bank and as experiences, and the ones that are new and we create, they're the ones that are kept. And if it turns out to be real knowledge, it's not. If it's duplicate, if it's mistakes, nobody cares about our mistakes. They only care about the new things that we.
But what's the end game of this all? What's the end game? What is the ultimate purpose?
Eternity. The end game is to grow and be wise enough to create, for example, your own universe. It's to be wise enough to understand everything, and you'll never be that wise. Nobody will be, because there's always other things to understand. If you live for eternity, it would be pretty boring to just say, okay, I've learned everything that needs to be done. I read all the books. I remember everything in the books, and now I still have eternity to go. You need a purpose. You need a plan in life. If you're going to exist forever, you have to be doing something that is of interest to you. And it turns out that there's an amazing number of things to do, and there's never an end to what you learn. Even the wisest spirits in existence are, and you would look at them and you'd say, now that's a perfect being, and that being would say to you, no, I'm not perfect. I have much more to learn. We just wouldn't see it because they knew so much more than we did.
Now, in theory, this is really nice, in theory, but in reality, is this another way of trying to explain our existence? Is this another way of trying to add some semblance of normalcy to this world we live in. You know, what's wrong with the established religious philosophies? They've worked for thousands of years. And yet, here come the New Agers waving a new flag. You know?
Well, how well have all these religions worked? I mean, think about it.
Yeah, but you're talking about a theory. You're talking about nothing that has any fact basis.
Well, do the religions?
I don't know. I like the concept of my religion better than I like the concept that you're trying to sell me.
Okay, well, that's fine. But you know, the religions are based on belief, and you know, just like science, it's based on belief. Now the question is, what's the most believable? What makes the most sense? That's what you got to look at. The religions have struggled. I'll tell you, if you look at, and let's pick a couple religions. Let's pick. Well, we'll pick Christianity,
sure,
and maybe Buddhism, and maybe Hinduism. And you say, okay, if you go back and you look at those religions from the very beginning,
yeah,
what the original Christ and Buddha was trying to tell us is exactly what I'm saying. But then it got all bastardized as man put his hand in the pot and stirred the religions around. So it's hard to see what some of the original truths were. But those religions, if you go far enough back, they all sing the same song, and it's extremely consistent with what I'm saying, with the metaphysical perspective.
Then why wasn't the metaphysical way of looking at it the original way of looking at it? Why did we have to wait so many years for it to come to fruition before everybody heard about it?
Well, they heard about it, but it's you know, life just goes on. We're you know, we've got a very young society here. Young being that you know, if you come in and you reincarnate, and the first time you reincarnate, you're pretty naive, and you're pretty young spiritually.
Okay.
And then as you come down again and again, you start to mature, and you start to understand and see the world very differently. So when the world is full of very young souls, you're going to have different sets of circumstances than you're going to have if the world was full of older souls. And the souls are getting older and older in this round. So the world is getting to be a little bit more controllable, although you'd never know it if you read the front page of any of our major papers.
So how can a soul get old? I'm having a problem with that, because if we keep coming back, it seems that our soul never ends. And speaking about that, where does the soul originate?
The soul originates. The soul is basically energy. The only thing that exists is energy, and energy is aware. It's self-aware energy. That's the only thing that exists. Everything in existence is some form of self-aware energy. And that's a hard concept to understand, but that's basically what it is. So the soul is just self-aware energy.
So if the soul is just this self-aware energy, where did the soul, based on it just being energy, get the concept or the idea that, hey, I'm going to become a soul, and I'm going to go down and I'm going to have all these lifetimes?
It came slow and painfully over God knows how many years.
But from where?
We're talking trillions.
But from where?
Where the first one came from?
Yeah.
Where the first one came from is a good question. The energy, there is an infinite amount, as I understand it, of dormant, latent energy that is in existence in the unknown, in the absolute, if you will. And once something turned that one piece of energy into it took it out of its dormant state and turned it into a vitality.
David, I'm going to have to hold you there because I've got to take my
check.
final break. X-Zone Nation, I'll be back on the other side of this break with David Gaggin as we wrap up this hour here in the X-Zone with yours truly, Rob McConnell. And you're listening to us in your hometown radio, Classic 1220, streaming classic1220.ca.
Just the music on the radio. No one's coming, no one's gone. The telephone. Just me and you and the lights down low. And we're slow. Shining. I know my baby brought you to me. Kissed me yesterday, hello, your silver lining. Got spring and summer running through me. Hey, 98.6, it's good.
David Gaggin is our special guest this hour. His website is davidgaggin.com, and he's the author of Our Eternal Existence. David, I've always understood that energy has to have a start somewhere. It just didn't go poof, and there's the energy. Where did our energy, as you're talking about our soul energy, originate from? What's the start of it? And in order to understand where the end is, I have always believed that you have to know where the start is.
Well, if you look at science, they don't give you a start. If you look at religion, they don't give you a start. So just because it's hard to figure out where all this started, it doesn't mean it didn't start. It started somewhere. And I'm telling you that there was energy in existence, and you're assuming that the energy in this universe is a closed system. And there's no reason to believe that it's a closed system. That's what science tells us. It's a closed system, but it's not a closed system. And where it started is, as I said, something, and I don't know what that something was, turned the first piece of energy, and we're talking huge amount of time ago. It turned a piece of energy into vitality, into a live energy. And all energy is live once it stops being dormant. Live meaning it understands itself, it knows it exists, and it's aware of its surroundings. Now, the surroundings may be very different, and definitely are, and what we would see as our surroundings. But when it first comes into existence, it becomes this conscious entity, tiny little conscious energy. But it continually works on other energy and other energy and other energy, and it continually changes all that dormant, or a lot of the dormant energy, I don't know about all, a lot of the dormant energy into vitality, which in time grows or has grown into spiritual beings as the spirits became wiser and understood more about itself and who it is.
If we are energy, why do we have to be born? Why do we have to put somebody through the grief of childbirth? Why can't we just pop up and say, okay, I'm here, let's try this one?
It's the experiences that we're trying to have, and everything that we go through is it's a learning experience. And you could in other places, but if you want to experience and have the experiences of this physical aspect, this physical field or universe, if you will. You need to somehow be able to get here, and this is what the powers that be chose the best way to do it.
David,
but in the spiritual world, you could just pop into to be energy anywhere you wanted.
David, had you yourself
appear anywhere you want?
Have you yourself had a near-death experience or an out-of-body experience?
I have not.
Then how can you talk about something you've never had?
Well, everybody talks about things they didn't have. You don't have to have a personal experience to understand it. I mean, I've communicated with the spiritual beings. My wife is deceased. I've communicated with her. It's incredibly easy to communicate with people on the other side if you're close to them. If it would, if I was talking to George Washington, I wouldn't know George Washington or not. But I could certainly talk to somebody that I was married to for 50 years and know that that's the individual I'm talking to, because they will tell you things that make it obvious that that's them. I mean, anybody can do this. You can do this. Anybody can communicate with the other side because they don't go anywhere. They stay here. And they just change state.
So are you saying that you're a medium as well?
No, but you go through a medium and you can easily, there's many good mediums out there. You go to a medium and you say, hey, you don't tell them anything about you except your name and the person you want to contact and maybe your relationship with the person. And then they tell you the things that the spirit tells them, and the spirit's a loved one that that's the people you're going to communicate with. If you lost a child,
right,
you lost a parent, you lost a spouse, and they're going to want to convince you that they're still alive, there's still a life going on. So they'll tell you these things. And it's easy to be convinced that that's who it is, because nobody else would know the things that that you'll hear from the medium. You don't need to be a medium; you just need to have one. And if you go to a medium and they don't do it, go to another medium, because they aren't all what they're cracked up to be. But it's easy to do. But you have to decide to do it. You have to say, yeah, this is a possibility. But if you say, well, it can't happen, then you never have the experience.
But isn't it possible that the desire or the belief to do something can actually manifest itself, but not in a realistic way, that you're being fooled by your own person because you want to believe it so much that you really can hear, you really can see, you really can feel something that's really not there?
It's not the way it is. I mean, it could.
But is it possible,
it's
sir?
So easy. It's possible to convince yourself. But there's so many ways that if you've had you had something important in your life, like a boat, and they named and your spouse names the boat that you had through the medium.
Right.
I mean, it's kind of hard to think that that's in your head. That it's on tape. The medium has put it on tape for you. So it's kind of hard to believe that you just made that up.
All right, sir. Is it possible? Do you believe in ESP?
Yes.
Is it possible that what a person does in front of a medium is project the thoughts, that there is a communication via ESP, and this is how
through telepathy.
Right. Is it possible that that is what the psychic is picking up, and this is where the answers are coming from you, not the great beyond?
It's hard to imagine, because you're not thinking of these things. You're not
consciously.
You're not thinking of this. You're not consciously thinking of this boat's name in the example that I'm using here.
Right.
You're just waiting for the medium to tell you something. The medium can tell you, you're with somebody for 50 years. The medium can tell you, pick and choose. The person on the other side can pick and choose anything they want. You might not even have thought of this boat for, boat's name for 20 years, but So the chances of that happening time and time again are so remote. And I do believe in telepathy. I truly do. And a lot of the times, I mean, you're not sitting across them. You do this by telephone. You don't have to be sitting across. But telepathy could work either way. But it's a real stretch to believe that that's what's causing it. Is it possible in some circumstances? Absolutely. But time and time again, it's just a real stretch. You have to look at what makes the most sense and what's most likely.
I understand that, sir, but it's also a great stretch for the majority of people to believe that, we die, we come back, we die, we come back, we die, we come back. We have this plan.
I agree with you.
Agree.
I agree with you. It's a tough stretch, and I don't have a problem with it being a tough stretch. It was a tough stretch for me. It took me 10 years from the time that I first saw something that said that sounded like reincarnation was real, but I didn't understand it, for me to believe it. It took me 10 years of reading and studying, because I agree. We're taught through religion and science that it doesn't make sense and it's not true. Although, if you go back to the original religions, all of them, they believed it, and that was a tenet in the early religions, all of the early religions. But then along, and you can see where it went away. You can see that it was I believe it was the Fifth Ecumenical Council in 50 or 60 A.D. that took it out of Christianity, and it wasn't even one of the clerics that took it out. It was the emperor. So he just thought it'd be easier to control the people if they thought they only had one shot at it. So you can see where it all changed, but you got to research it. You got to look at it. It's not an easy sell. I can't agree with you more. It took me years to try to convince myself that this is the only way it can. This is the only way it can work.
Let me ask you this question, sir. Let me ask you this question, and I hope you don't take it the wrong way. Okay. Since the passing of your wife, the communications that you have with your wife, have these cemented your beliefs?
They just added to them. That's all. I believed it all. I wrote my first book before she died.
Okay.
No, it didn't. It added to my beliefs, but it didn't change them. I believed this long before she died.
David, the time has come when I must. David, the time has come when I must say so long with you, sir. Thank you so much for joining us. And Exonation, if you'd like to find out more about our guest this hour, David Gaggin, visit his website, davidgaggin.com. That's DAVIDGAGGIN.com. And his book is entitled Our Eternal Existence. Thank you for joining us, sir.
Okay, thank you, Rob.
Exonation, I'll be back on the other side of this break as we continue with Hour 2 of tonight's show here in the X Zone with yours truly, Rob McConnell. We're coming to you from our broadcast center and studios in St. Catharines, Ontario, Canada, on the X Zone Broadcast Network. And you're listening to us tonight on your hometown radio, Classic 1220, streaming classic1220.ca. Don't go away, we'll be back.